Today we're going to pull up the next gen stats from NFL.com and look at 10 trendy running backs from week 6 to see whether or not we need to pick them up off waivers, drop them to waivers, trade for them, trade them away, dump them, never start them again, only when it's necessary. But we're going to be looking at these trends to see what we want to do with these players. But before we do that, you need to click that subscribe button right now. Click it with the finger on your phone, click it with your mouse, whatever you need to do to get the job done, because we're covering the waiver wire extensively every week. We're helping you set those lineups. We're helping you get trades done. We're going over the numbers constantly on this channel, the advanced metrics. Hard to find numbers too. So you're here just looking for the numbers sometimes because you just want to see what these players are doing, and I got it for you, and I'm always showing it for you. So hit that button. Don't miss out. Let's get rolling. We're looking at 10 trendy running backs while using NFL.com's next-gen stats. First player we're looking at is Kareem Williams. He went off yesterday against the Cardinals. We were kind of expecting that because you can run on the Cardinals. They're a little bit tougher against the pass, creating a run funnel, and it was a run funnel. You can still throw on them if you're good at throwing the ball, if you're good at moving it in the air, but still, you want to run on this team. We knew it was going to be a Kareem Williams day. We were expecting that. He was all over the place. There was a little bit of a buy low window coming into this game, but not really. A lot of people were pegging that on social media. I saw that on Twitter a good bit, but I don't think people are handing him away. I don't think you can really trade for him and catch him on the cheap, even after a down game where he scored 7.7 fantasy points, because he came back, scored 21.8. He's at least giving you top production every other week, which is something you want from your running back. Not many running backs are even doing that, so that's a good thing. Game script matters for him. He's also being used in the passing game. This game, he didn't see many targets, but honestly, he saw 20 carries, so maybe he was doing enough in the run game where he didn't need those targets, where they can just funnel it downfield. That's something we see a lot in college football, where that running back gets 30 touches a game. They don't use them in the passing game at all. They want to save that back. That's something we probably saw in this game. Also, you got some hosses at wide receiver. The thing is, Kareem Williams is here to stay. He's not a flash of lightning. He's here to stay for at least this season, unless the Rams bring somebody else in. But he's getting the workload. He's dependable in NFL football, real football, and fantasy football. Now we're looking at Keon Ingram, and we're really talking about the Cardinals' backfield here. James Conner's out, and it's a mess. It's a mess, and we're looking at the running backs. We're picking one who's getting carries, and we're hoping they pass that goal line, score a touchdown. Keon Ingram looks like he's going to be the main dude. It looks like he's going to be getting an opportunity. But still, whoever crosses the goal line is the guy you're going to want that week, and that's probably how it's going to be. He did score 7 fantasy points. Didn't really kill it this week. A lot of people were arguing in the videos about which running back to get, and we knew it was going to be a mess, and we knew we were just grabbing touches and hoping for the best. That's what I mean when we say, hey, pick him up just because he's getting touches, see what happens. Grab him because he's getting touches, see what happens, because you never know what's going to happen with that player when they're getting touches. And this one's kind of a messy situation. Game script really wasn't there, and you know what? None of the running backs hit. Now we're looking at Chuba Hubbard, and he went off. He did well. 88 yards, a touchdown. Got a little bit of work in the pass game, 1 target, but still. Miles Sanders is out. He is good to go. Just lock him in there. Just lock him in there, unless you're stacked at running back and got some better guys. But just lock him in there, see what happens, because he's getting touches, he's getting opportunity, and he should steal more workload from Sanders, because he's looking good. He's looking better than Sanders, actually. He's looking pretty good. He's looking explosive. He's getting it done, and he's a guy that should be earning more of a role throughout the season. Now we're looking at Miami Dolphins' backfield here, as Raheem Mostert's the guy. That was never the question. He's the 1A, but he's locked in bold as the 1A. As just a committee behind him until Jeff Wilson's back. We saw Ahmed score a touchdown, but the touches were rather split here, and you was just hoping one of those jabroni running backs would just cross the goal line with one of those carries. Ahmed was the guy. You also had Brooks there. Maybe down the line in the same scenario, it could be Brooks over Ahmed scoring that touchdown, but really in mop-up duty, they're getting similar workload here, and really it's just a mess behind them. You want Raheem Mostert, and you're really hoping for the best behind them in these shootouts that the Dolphins are in. Zach Moss is still a thing. Zach Moss is still getting opportunity here. He's being used in the passing game as well. He saw 7 targets. Jonathan Taylor's being used in the passing game, saw a lot of targets, and he's going to be a thing for the rest of the season. Is he going to be nuclear like he was? Don't know. Don't know. Jonathan Taylor could earn more touches. However, now you got a 1A and 1B, or 1A, 1A, or whatever you want to call it. You got two running backs to use here. If I'm a coach and I see both running backs doing some things, I'm using them both. I'm using them both because running backs get hurt. I might as well just limit their touches per game, let them stay fresh, let them rotate in and out, let them get some work. And if the game script calls for it, they both might get heavy workloads. Now it's David Montgomery. He exited in the second quarter with a rib injury. So now we got to look at Craig Reynolds. We got to look at David Montgomery and watch his status throughout the week. Could be Jahmyr Gibbs' season coming up, but we got to point that out. That is the big trend from this. That is a huge one. Jahmyr Gibbs comes back with Montgomery out. Everybody's going to be excited. If you don't like Gibbs anymore, if you're done with Gibbs or you're done with the Lions, that might be a selling opportunity or an opportunity to throw him in your lineup, whatever you want to do. But there's going to be upside going into that matchup, whatever happens. Craig Reynolds probably will get an expanded role, but it's something you don't want to chase unless you're hurting. But David Montgomery could be back as well. Rib issue. They're looking more into it. Might be okay. Now we're looking at Devin Singletary, Damian Pierce here. Singletary has been a thorn in Pierce's side all season long, siphoning workload. We saw it this week, and he's getting touches. Nothing grandiose, nothing huge, but double-digit carries is a thing. And you know what? He's good in the passing game. He's good at pass blocking. He's dependable. The dependability matters. And it's eating into Damian Pierce. He's getting an opportunity, and C.J. Stroud's the man. C.J. Stroud's been getting it done. The Texans are 3-3 with another win over the Saints. Now it's Devonte Foreman and the Bears. Foreman got workload. Foreman got a lot of carries in this game. Amounted to 65 yards, though. Ugly matchup here. 19-13. We were hoping it would break due to some tendencies with the Vikings, but those tendencies kind of left due to Justin Jefferson not being there, and it was a scrappy game. Foreman got workload. Rashawn Johnson's the guy we're talking about, though. If Rashawn Johnson's on your waiver wire, shame on you, shame on everybody else. Pick him up, though. Pick him up, though. He should have been already rostered. But if you guys are letting Rashawn Johnson set, because he's next in line, he's going to be getting touches. He's going to be getting the opportunity here. He's going to be using the passing game. And you know what? Some of these carries that Foreman got, he might have been able to break a couple loose for a little bit longer game. Who knows? But he's going to be getting some workload in his offense. You want to see that through. Javonte Williams comes back. He gets double-digit touches. Now we got a scenario here with the Broncos. We got a little bit of a committee going on. Maybe Javonte Williams gets more. Maybe it stays a committee. But McLaughlin got some touches as well. So we need to pay attention to the Broncos. Maybe Javonte Williams was released to waivers in a lot of leagues. We saw that in the numbers on ESPN. So he's sitting there on waivers. Pick him up because he's a lot like those backup running backs who get thrust into a role because he's getting touches. You want a running back that gets touches. That is the bottom line. The Broncos' schedule coming up is very good for fantasy production one way or another, but the Broncos have to hold up to their end of the bargain. They did not in this matchup. They did not move the ball, but at least you got that schedule there where the other team could push them to score more fantasy points in a shootout, which could drive up the production out of these running backs and wide receivers. Now we're looking at Tyler Algier getting some opportunity in a matchup against the Commanders where it was a nasty game. Bijan Robinson still got some touches. Tyler Algier's the hammer in this offense. He'll always have a role. If something happens to Bijan, that 13-touch game, that 13-carry game is going to be 20+. That is going to be a big role, and that is something people are going to chase if something happens to Bijan Robinson. He's an elite handcuff because the Atlanta Falcons want to run the ball more than they should, and that means Algier will get more carries than he should. Those are 10 trendy running backs from Week 6. We looked at the next-gen stat charts from NFL.com and looked at the numbers, talked through their scenario. We talked about 10 running backs, but honestly, we probably talked about 15, 20, 25 running backs because we talked about their situation as well. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Catch you on the next video.